And we're back. This is movie night, ladies and gentlemen. All the movies and possible TV shows that are horror related for the month of October as we're getting closer and closer to Halloween. I've been doing a movie or horror themed TV show a day, every day in the month of October. Because I love movies, I love horror movies, and I love to torture myself because this is harder than it looks, trying to carve out 2 hours and also an entire TV show every single fucking day. What am I, insane? Why would I do this to myself? But it ended up got a list of last episode, I guess. We did my first 8 and I ranked them, reviewed them. And then today we got my next 8, 9 through 16. So we're going to talk about all these, review them, and then I'm going to give you my top 3, my bottom 3. I'm going to let you know what they're rated on my dating scale. First date, third date, and or last date. First date, of course, it's a movie or TV show that is so good you would risk a first date on it. You're like, guys, we got to share this together. Guys, if you're dating more than one person at the same time and you decided to have a triple date, sit down, watch a show together. Hopefully it turns into a 3-way. And then if it's a third date where it's something that's like, it's fine, it's pretty mediocre. If we made out for a good portion of this or decided to smush, then I don't care what we would miss. I'm sure we could pick it back up right around the time we get finished. And last date, it's something that is so awful, just incomprehensible. You're like, you know what? This is going to be the last thing we watch before we break up. I hate you, and you have to experience this with me. So here we go. Number 9, Netflix's Monster, the Ed Gein story. Yeah, this is, I loved Monster, the Dahmer story. I thought that they did a really great job of showcasing like what was going on in Dahmer's head, and then what led to him killing all these folks, and then how it took so long for him to get caught. And then, you think the thing that was disappointing about that one is you thought it was going to be more, they were going to highlight more of like the racial inequality of the show, which is why Dahmer got away from it. Why Dahmer got away of it. What the fuck am I trying to say? Why Dahmer got away with it. Good Lord. What, did I have a stroke? Why Dahmer got away with it for so long? Because he was targeting black males. Gay black males, so it's marginalized twofold, and you think it's going to be this cat and mouse game between him and his neighbor, and it's not really that, but it was still a compelling story, still the way that it was told in a very compelling way. And then Monsters, the sequel to that was Monsters, the Eric and Lyle Menendez story, which was less intriguing but had a few pretty good episodes. There was an episode where they meet OJ in prison, which happened, but it's not anything to do with the story. Like OJ doesn't pop up later, and and so like, I guess it was to highlight. I guess if I'm gonna give that moment credit, I think it was to highlight the fact that they were the big news story until OJ killed Nicole, and then he got sent to prison and everyone forgot about them, and then they their trial, no one cared about their trial anymore, and it stopped being a big story. And then there's this one take episode that was really compelling. But for the most part, like that one was very hard to watch. It was hard to watch for the subject matter, as well as it was hard to watch because it I'm not sure exactly how I'm supposed to feel. So then Monsters Ed Gein comes up with this, and you're like, okay, all right, let's see what. You see, because the thing about the Lyle and Eric Menendez story is like they're trying to have their cake and eat it too. They're trying to be like, yeah, they blew their mom and dad's head off with shotguns. Intense, violent way to go out. And but then we're going to show, kind of why they did it and why you should feel sorry for them. It's like, yeah, but they did blow their mom and dad's head off. What? All right. Like, at no point during Dahmer do you ever feel bad for Dahmer. You're like, good God, I'm so glad I never ran into this guy. But with Lyle and Eric Menendez, you're like, oh, am I supposed to fucking feel bad for them? Then we get to the Ed Gein story. And the Ed Gein story is trying to tell a story about how Ed Gein is the first big serial killer. He's the guy that started the serial killer craze. The craze not only in our society as people who want to get into the serial killer part of their life, but also, they want to the movies that were inspired by everything that Ed Gein did. And I was like appreciating the take where they're like, yeah, here's Ed Gein and here's what he inspired. But then it's cut so weirdly. Every episode I'm like, what are they trying to tell me? And then the latter half of the show, they're trying to make the audience feel bad for Ed. Ed Gein. Ed Gein, a guy who may or may not have dug up dead bodies and fucked them. Right? Okay, so I'm supposed to feel bad. I'm supposed to feel bad for that guy. And then they just say he did some stuff that he just so clearly didn't do. So I'm confused. Like, I'm just going to spoil it. At one point, the Mindhunter FBI guys go ask Ed Gein about Ted Bundy. And Ed says that he knows who it is. He knows that it's Ted Bundy. Go find Ted Bundy. And he helps the FBI catch Ted Bundy. Right? And then he's like, I did some good in the world. I finally gave something back to the world. And then you find out none of that fucking happened. Okay, so if Ed wasn't a reformed serial killer who helped the FBI catch other serial killers, they want to make it seem like he was doing a Hannibal Lecter, but Hannibal Lecter wasn't based on him. Fucking Buffalo Bill was based on him. At no point during the movie do you ever see somebody playing Anthony Hopkins going, I would like to figure out who was going on in Ed Gein's head so I can, have that as part of my character for Hannibal Lecter. It's a terrible Anthony Hopkins impression. But none of that. It was Buffalo Bill. They even show Buffalo Bill. So I'm confused. And then they just show like Ed being like, I did what I could to be. He sounds like Winnie the Pooh for most of the movie or most of the show. I did what. He's not British either. I'm like, okay, so if that didn't happen, and you're just showing me, it just feels, and this is what I was going to say about the whole OJ thing for the Eric and Lyle Menendez thing. Like, they're pulling a Marvel, and they're saying, like, hey, look at all these other serial killers that are connected to Ed. This is a connected cinematic universe. What the fuck? Who the fuck wants that? Who wants that? I don't need to see these guys cross together like Captain America and Iron Man. Nobody fucking needs to see that. So weird. If that didn't happen, why'd you put it on? And then Ed dies of lung cancer, and he goes to serial killer heaven. This is in the end of the movie, or show. I keep saying movie. He goes to serial killer heaven, where his mom is standing on the top of the stairs being like, Eddie, boy, did you make a name for yourself. I'm so gosh darn proud of you. Are we supposed to be fucking hyped that Ed Gein did what he did? Are we supposed to be on his side? What the fuck are you trying to say with this? Insane. Awful. It was fucking awful. It was not good at all. All of the shit about Texas Chainsaw Massacre and fucking Psycho and all that stuff, it's like, yeah, that's compelling, sure. But also, you're a show that is showing your inspiration from Ed Gein. You're the same. So what exactly are you trying to say about your show depicting Ed Gein, inspiring these things? What are you saying? What are you trying to tell me? That if I watch this show, I'll become a serial killer? Or are all serial killers human and we should have a little bit of, we should hold space for serial killers? What the fuck? This show sucks. It's bad. I hated it. All right. Friday the 13th, Jason Lives. All of these are bad. I just got to say it right now. All of these are bad. I spent so much time on Monsters Ed Gein. There's just like, okay, so grown-up Tommy again is back. He digs up. He's not convinced that Jason is dead, so he digs him up out of the grave that he was in. Tommy killed him. He's dead. Jason wasn't even in the last movie. It was some guy pretending to be Jason, and then they hinted that Tommy was supposed to be the new Jason, but now Tommy is not the new Jason. Tommy is here to be Jason's nemesis. Tommy digs him up, sticks a spike in his chest, electrical storm, hits the rod, reanimates Jason. Jason is now a zombie. What the fuck? Then, now Tommy, who it's his fault, this is his fault, is now running around trying to tell people that Jason is back and then getting shitty and indignant around the cops who don't believe him. Like, he's like, you gotta stop Jason. It's like, bitch, you fucking started this shit. Don't high road anyone else in this movie. Don't do it because you brought this motherfucker back to life. This is your fault. This is your fault. I have no sympathy for you. It sucks. It was bad. Moving on. The Blackening. Blackening is very funny. It was on Netflix. I thought it was going to be, and I was hoping for it, but I got this feeling when I watched the trailer that The Blackening was going to be way more of a comedy than it was ever going to be a horror movie. And I was right. It's like, I really wanted it to just be this really, I wanted it to be Scream. I wanted it to be this self-referential horror movie that is really intense, scary, gory, and like, contemplative about, black people's role in movies. And it was basically Scary Movie again. It just felt like another Scary Movie. And so, like, nobody's really acting how you should in the situation that they find themselves in. And so I was disappointed with that, but it's still really funny. Like, a lot of the shit that goes on and a lot of the stuff that's said, a lot of the commentary on all of the, like, everything that they're doing in the movie. And like the concept that they're getting close to the end and they have the ability to call the cops and none of them want to do it. You're like, yeah, no, I get it. It's like that feeling. It's like when you get to the end of Get Out and, the main character, I think his name is Chris, is standing over his white girlfriend with a gun. And then you see blue lights and everyone in the theater. It just, nothing needed to be said. Everyone in the theater was like, oh my God, it's over. He's so fucked. All right, moving on to Friday the 13th, New Blood. This is where Jason fights Jean Grey from the X-Men. There's a girl, and this one is even more confusing. There's a girl. Tommy doesn't exist anymore. He was Jason's nemesis. He's able to somehow get Jason into the middle of Crystal Lake, chain him to the bottom of the lake, and then that's where Jason stays. So at one point, this little girl is seeing her parents fight, so she rows out to the middle of the lake. Then the dad comes out to a dock that's really high, really, really high in the air. And which makes the dock not a dock, even though she goes to use the dock and then to get on the boat. And then all of a sudden the dock is like 40 feet in the fucking air. And then she's so mad at her dad that she uses her psychokinetic powers to bust and break the whatever, the thing. I can't even remember the name of it now. Talking about these movies drains my intelligence. Truly, it makes me dumber. What the dock? Jesus Christ. She shatters the dock, drowns her dad. Dad dies. Cut to many, many years later. This little girl is now an adult woman, which they've done already with Tommy. Tommy once was a little boy, played by Corey Feldman, killed Jason. Next movie, they show Corey Feldman as a little boy having scary Jason dreams. He wakes up, he's an adult, played by an actor. Then in the next one, it's Tommy again, except he's played by a completely different guy. They were like trying to make Tommy Jason's version of Jamie Lee Curtis, but Tommy wasn't there at the beginning. And this franchise is all over the fucking place. Anyway, so now there's a person with superhuman powers. She has Professor X powers, and she can move things with her mind. She accidentally wakes up Jason. So Jason starts killing people. And then she gets into a fight with Jason where she uses her telekinetic powers. And then she is able to set him on fire. And then they get to the dock. And then she uses her powers again to resurrect her dad, who died, I'm going to say, 15 years ago, give or take, right? There's no timestamp. So, but he bursts out of the water, and then grabs Jason, drags him down to the lake again, and the dad looks exactly like he looked 15 years ago. Huh? None of that is how any of that would work. If we're gonna go, the dad doesn't have superpowers, right? He's not Aquaman. And if he was, why did it take him so long to get out of the fucking water? So, let's say the dad drowned, right? He's now a bloated, big puffy corpse until the water just erodes, until decay happens, and he would be a skeleton, right? He wouldn't look exactly like he looked 15 years ago. The guy looks exactly like he looks at the start of the movie. Just wet. He's just wet. Okay, let's say he doesn't die and he's just under the water. Right? So he didn't age while he was under the water? But you did. He wasn't in the ice. It's like truly an insane and upsetting thought to think this was popular. There's a fucking reason I've never watched these movies. I watched the first one and hated it. The first one is bad. It's a bad movie. The second one is just as bad, but now it's just a male killer. It's bad. They're all bad. This one's bad. Why do they keep getting fucking made? I don't get it. They even remade it, and that one was bad. They remade it knowing all the pitfalls of what the problems are with the other 900, and they were like, well, let's just, we'll do it good. We'll do it good because it's 2013 or whatever. And that one sucks. Okay, bad. Moving on. Joyride. This is a great movie. Paul Walker, Steve Zahn, they get a ham radio or whatever, and then they go on a joyride to go pick up this girl that Paul Walker is into. It's pre-Fast and the Furious. He loved driving cars in movies. It was like his favorite thing. And then they get a radio, and then Steve Zahn decides he wants to play a trick on a truck driver who's like lonely. So Paul Walker pretends to be a girl, gets him to a hotel to fuck with somebody in a room. And then the truck driver figures out who they are and starts taunting them. It's basically what I called in my review white trash Scream. And it's funny, and it's scary, and it's tense. It's ridiculous. It's everything. It's like so. It's just so good. It's one of my favorites. I watched it recently. I've been watching it a long time. It holds up. Joyride's great. I love that movie. Number 14, The Substance. This one is, everyone's been talking about The Substance. That one is fucking so good. The Substance is incredible. Probably my favorite movie I've watched for this series of movies. And one of my favorite movies of the year that I've watched. It's as good as everyone was saying it was. I don't know why I didn't watch it, but it's fucking incredible. Demi Moore. It's what I love about The Substance is that it is so well thought out. It's such a well thought out story. The dialogue in it is so minimal, but you get exactly what everybody wants and what everybody's struggling with basically no inner dialogue, no inner monologue. No, at no point does anybody say anything out loud to hold the audience hands, but it's just so well crafted as a story that they don't need it. Like, I can't imagine that the script is very long, but it is really well done. Demi Moore kills it. Still, just gosh darn it, so hot, and I just loved that it was just this movie about. It's this body horror movie about the beauty industry and and our obsession with age and youth and hotness and the turmoil we all put ourselves through to continue to cling to our youth. I even talked about it last episode with friends who are at my age who are like, you eat past 8 o'clock and it makes you want to kill them and kill yourself. And but it's just like there's just like that. It's like that scene in Barbie where Barbie says to that old woman, "You're beautiful," and the old woman's like, "I know." Basically like people can be beautiful no matter how old they get. And so in this movie, the torture that they put themselves through to get to be beautiful, to be looked at and sought after. I just thought it was great, and it ends in the craziest way. Just one of the coolest ways to show someone's backstory at the start of the movie. I knew I was gonna love this movie when they show them putting the main character's star on the Walk of Fame, and then they just show a time lapse of that star and the eventual cracks in the star, showing you basically like where her mental state is gonna be by the time we meet her. And then it's fucking chaos after that. Substance is the best. Really great. My favorite. Number 15, Vicious. This one was on Paramount Plus. Dakota Fanning, old lady comes to her house, gives her a box, says, this is yours now. I'm going to leave. She leaves. And then the box starts to torture Dakota Fanning and making her put stuff in the box. And it's also a body horror, psychological horror movie. And it's basically a one-woman show. It's just pretty much just Dakota Fanning acting against Dakota Fanning. And showcases her skills. She still has it. She's killing it. She's really good. And I thought the story was pretty great. I wanted more investigation into the box itself, but the movie takes place in one night. Like, she basically gets the box starts to torture her, and then she accepts that, okay, well, I feel like shit, so I have to sacrifice things about myself and put it in the box. And then, she starts to learn things about herself and things she needs and she doesn't need. And but ultimately I was like, this is this is like pop-up scary. There's a lot of jump scares. So the rewatch ability of it, it kind of like wanes because you're like, oh, someone's going to come around the corner and freak her out. And then that'll end. And so you really love this psychological horror parts of it all. Thought that was really well done. And then it ends in a really cool way, but also still in a confusing way, where you're like, okay, but also, huh? You could have done that the whole time? And also, why didn't you do that from the start to then maybe figure out, is this thing full of shit or am I going crazy? But, whatever. Still thought it was good. Moving on. This is the last one on the list. Another Friday the 13th. Friday the 13th, Part 8. Jason Takes Manhattan. And for some reason, I had high hopes for this, that it would be so bad it's good, because how did Jason get to Manhattan? And then what does he do in Manhattan? How does he take the city of Manhattan? The killer who is never out of the woods is finally in the concrete jungle. And how does he take it? How does he grip the fear, the hearts and minds of the Manhattanites, right? And then you watch the movie, and you realize that Jason's in Manhattan for up to, I'm gonna assume because I didn't time it, but I'm gonna say he's in Manhattan for 10 minutes. And the movie is, I'm gonna say like 2 hours, close to 2 hours, an hour and 50 minutes long. He's in Manhattan for 10. Most of the movie takes place on what I would say the most ludicrous idea of getting one character from one point to another point. A bunch of high school graduates take a fucking like shipping container boat. I don't even know what the fuck to call it. A big giant rig. They take a giant shipping ship. God, what the fuck do you even call it? They take this big giant boat to New York. Jason gets on the boat, and then he kills almost everybody before they even get to Manhattan. And then when they get to Manhattan, Manhattan is so cartoonishly evil. Just the city itself. As soon as they get off the dock and down an alley, they have been in, not exaggerating, they have been on the island of Manhattan for up to 30 seconds. They get mugged immediately. And then the person you think is the main character gets taken away, kidnapped from the rest of her group. Then they're about to assault her, and then they shoot her up with heroin or something, some drug. It was green. It was like close to green, and you're assuming it's heroin. Because what else would they give her? And then what else would the public know that would, that they're doing? It's, So I'm going to assume it's not ever really said what it is, but you're just going to assume that's heroin. So they give her heroin, and then Jason comes and kills them. And then for the rest of the movie, she's running around perfectly fine. Now, I myself have never done heroin, okay? But I have seen people I've been in rooms where people talk about what it feels like to be on heroin, and that bitch was not on heroin. She wasn't even remotely pretending to be high. She didn't even try to be high. Like, she just got it. They gave it to her. I watched them inject her with it. Then she just is sober as a judge the rest of the time. She even drives a car perfectly down the street to run Jason over. What the fuck? God damn it. All of these movies are hot, terrible diaper garbage. I hate them all. I hate every single fucking one of them. None of them are good. Just the straight up Jason ones. I'm about to watch Jason X, and I watched that once a long time ago as a kid, and I remember loving it because it was also bad. Because Jason is in space. It's called Jason X. He becomes Super Shredder in the movie. He goes through a thing and becomes Super Jason, and then keeps killing. But he was already Super Jason because he's a fucking zombie who can't. You shoot him and he doesn't die. I'm like, and I love that one. I love that one. That one, it's great. God, okay. So they're all bad. Here are my top 3 of my horror movies this week that I've watched. The Substance, of course, Joyride, The Blackening. Those are my top 3. The Substance, first date movie. It's so good, I would risk a first date on it. It's just, it's going to ruin the mood. It's kind of going to ruin the mood. It's really sexy. It's a sexy movie. So that first half, if you're not smushing before then, then you guys are really locked in. Joyride, again, first date movie. I love this movie. I think it holds up. It's one of Paul Walker's best movies where he's driving a car the whole time. It's his best. And he's done 9 or 8 or whatever, I guess 7. No, not even, because he wasn't in Tokyo Drift. He's done a handful of fucking Fast and the Furious movies, and this is his best one. All right. The Blackening. This is I'm going to say it's a third date movie. You can make out during it and still know what's going on. Bottom 3. Monster Ed Gein Story, Friday the 13th, New Blood, Friday the 13th, Jason Takes Manhattan. I'm going to say that Monsters Ed Gein Story is I'm going to say last date because you can't really fuck during this. It's not one of those shows where you put it on and you fuck, because he's creepy as hell and the subject matter is just awful. You just can't. So it's a last date. If you decide you hate this person and you want to slog through 3 hours together, this is the show. Friday the 13th, The New Blood is I'm gonna go third date because there's enough going on with it. Like there's enough, like the girl having psychic powers and them having a fucking X-Men fight is interesting enough to make you want to keep it on. But the acting is terrible and everything that happens in it is bad. So it's still a third date movie. You could fuck during it and then and be fine. And then Jason Takes Manhattan, last date. I hate this fucking movie. I think it is so boring, so bad, so really poorly executed. Shouldn't have been called Jason Takes Manhattan. He's not even fucking. He's barely there before he gets killed. Before he's just turned into. And also that's the other thing. He doesn't sludge. Toxic waste in the sewer hits him and turns him back into a small boy. But okay, so then the next movie is Jason Goes to Hell, which I've watched, and Jason is a full-grown man stomping around Camp Crystal Lake again. So what the fuck? Okay. Those are my picks. That's the show.